And so I think maybe it's the wreckage of my past that qualifies me to bring me here and share this occasion with you. So I want to congratulate everyone that's been involved in this program, the outreach program, putting back people's lives together. And I want to use the word of one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous when he says that, I salute you and I thank you for your lives. And I was ready to get to this function, and I received a telephone call from my family doctor that my mom needed to be hospitalized. Apparently she suffered a mild heart attack maybe a day or two ago. And I was all dressed up and I had to make a decision. And my mom bore the brunt, and I want to tell you that I'm a recovering alcoholic and a drug addict. And if you're wondering what an alcoholic or a drug addict looks like, well, he's tall, dark, handsome, and Indian. and my mom bore the brunt of it. I grew up in Meerbank, not very far away from here. I picked up my first drink when I was still living in Meerbank. I'm no longer here. And I owed this, but this is what recovery has done for me, being there for my mom when she needed me most. And then the other thing that recovery has done for me is that I had admitted my mom in hospital, and there's nothing else that I can do because I'm powerless over the situation. And I live by a prayer which tells me, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so I'm unable to do anything about it. And the next thing that's going to happen because of my disease of alcoholism, I'm going to start feeling sorry for myself. And I'm going to want to maybe ease up to substances that might make me feel better for the time being. And I learned as part of my recovery that the next best thing to do is to go find someone whom you can help. We resolutely seek out someone whom we can help and share our lives with them, so we forget about ourselves. So my life today is not about me. It's about my responsibility to the God that I pray to be of maximum purpose to God and the fellows about me. That is my purpose. And so when I focus on other people, I forget about myself. I forget about selfishness, I forget about self-centeredness, I forget about self-pity. And these are the things that just live, they're just standing by my shoulder. I mean by my elbow. See, I forget my body parts, that's how out of tune I am. And they're just standing and they're waiting and they're knocking at the door and they say, your mom's not well. Maybe a escape or a drink will help you to ease the tension, to make you feel a little better. So it's waiting. This disease that I suffer from is waiting. It's cunning, baffling, powerful, but it is also patient. And it is so effective that it can have its tentacles around 1 million people, and you don't worry that it didn't get me now. It knows that one day. So my purpose in life on a daily basis is to make sure that I don't succumb to the impulses of my disease. And my disease is not only about taking substances or drinking alcohol. My disease is about wallowing in self-pity, being selfish, being self-centered, being dishonest, being resentful, etc. So those are the things that I try to work through on a daily basis. And when someone told me 29 years ago that I needed help with substances and alcohol, I didn't think. I was only 24 years old. I was just 24 years old, and they told me that I must stop drinking. And you know what? We just start living when we're 24. And I didn't believe that I had the gift of desperation that would have made me want to give this. But I soon realized, pain, suffering, degradation, humiliation. I used to be a school teacher at that point as well. And it is the pain, the suffering, and the degradation and the humiliation that brought me down onto my knees. And the pain of living had become far greater than the pain of drinking or the pain of doing substances. And life on a daily basis had become unmanageable. And I found help. I found help, and I found a 12-step program that had helped me. And today the gift of desperation is not the gift of just clinging on to this day, just barely making it by the skin of my teeth, that I didn't do any drugs or I didn't have a drink. The gift of desperation that I seek today, or that I have today, is the desperation to be alive, the desperation to be happy, the desperation to be joyous, and the desperation to be free. And when one is desperate, it can have a negative connotation as well as a positive connotation. But I'd like to focus on the gift of desperation, on a positive connotation. And because I want to be happy, joyous, and free, I would do everything that I need to do in order to be happy, joyous, and free just for this day. And that would include changing my playgrounds, my playmates, and my playthings. I have a lot of friends on the outside, a lot of friends who still, let's call them alternate chemists. They still dispense tablets and other forms of drugs, etc. They're still out there. They're still there. I don't have to be there. I don't have to be there because my joy of living, my joy of being happy, my joy of being free does not depend on them. It depends how much I want to move away from them. And I want to quote, there was a Jesuit priest, his name was Father Ed Dowling. And when someone asked Father Ed, what is heaven? And he says that heaven is a new pair of glasses. How do you see life today? How do you see life? Do you see life from the misery of your pain, or do you see life being grateful for the bottle of water that you have in front of you? Do you see life for the fact that you just have one room, or do you see life from the fact that you have 3 rooms? So heaven is a new pair of glasses. What you see in this day is going to be your heaven. And someone went on further to ask him, but how do you get to heaven? And he says, you walk slowly backwards from hell. And if you walk slowly backwards from hell, you're going to surely reach heaven. So my life today is not about handing it over to someone. It's about turning. It's about changing direction. When you hand over something to someone, you are relinquishing your responsibility. You are giving away your responsibility. But when you are turning your life, you are changing direction. And you are moving away from a past or from a life that you don't want to. Now, whatever it is in life and wherever we belong, whether it's our religious organization, whether it's our family name, whether it's this organization called FAR, whatever it is, the badge that we wear has to be worn with distinction. We have to wear it with pride. We have to be the example of the principles that something like this espouses. I am a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and let me break my anonymity. But I want to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous that someone who's got a problem is going to be able to come to me. I'm not going to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous who's not a worthy ambassador of this fellowship. And similarly, if you're a member of the school of Fairvale Secondary, you must be a worthy ambassador so that those youngsters that are coming behind you say that I want to go to Fairvale because of what my cousin or what my neighbor did. Because I know what that school had done for this person. And so, whether we belong to our church or our own homes, our friends want to be happy to come into our homes because of what they enjoy in our homes. And that is what it is. It is about sharing. It is about sharing, it is about caring, it is about love, and it is about tolerance. Now, I want to tell you, I spoke about my God and how my God wants me. I spoke about an organization that I belong to, and I spoke about wearing this badge with distinction, whichever organization we belong to. My sister lives in the UK. She runs a rehabilitation facility in the UK. She's contracted to government and whatever. My niece, who's 23 years old, works for her, earning in pounds, earns a fantastic salary in excess of 60 or 70,000 South African rands per month. She came here. She came to South Africa for a holiday where they come. They have a home here, my home, and wherever. And my niece decided that she doesn't want to go back to the to the UK. And so she decided to extend her stay, and I just thought that because it's my dad, her granddad's death anniversary that's coming up for 10 years, I thought she was going to go after that. And then suddenly my sister rocks back into South Africa and tells me that, well, your niece has found herself drugs and she's been doing heroin and cocaine, etc. And there's someone who works with people that are addicted and recovering from addiction. She works with them every day. And she's qualified to do this. And so this thing is not for the degraded only, it's for the degree. It's for anyone. It doesn't discriminate. And there was nothing that I could do. I mean, my sister being powerless, when it is so close home, you can tell your neighbor, believe in God. But when it's your child, or when it's your love or your blood, it's so difficult to believe in God because at that point in time you believe that God had abandoned you. But that is the last thing that I told my sister. That is the last thing that I did. And once again I realized that I was powerless over the situation. And that the only thing that I could do was pray for my niece. Because I had to show her love and I had to show her understanding, because she's probably doing this thing. Maybe she doesn't want to do it. But once she starts doing it, she's not doing it because she wants to do it. She's doing it to satisfy a craving that's far beyond her control. And that's what this disease is all about. And I had to show her that love and that understanding. And I didn't want to be here, standing here 29 years of not having done this thing and shunning this person out. Because when we know and we understand what this illness is about, when we know and we understand what this illness is about, our attitude to the person who is afflicted, who is suffering from this, changes from one of hatred and anger to compassion and empathy and love. And that's what we don't need to show people that are being ill. And the only way we can do it is if we have that love within ourselves and if we love ourselves. And so we need to love ourselves in order to love someone else. We need to forgive ourselves in order to forgive other people. We need to be the example so that others can follow. We cannot ask someone to do something which we are not doing. And so I've heard about this program many years ago, and I've heard about the wonderful things that has been happening in the school, and I hope by extension in the community. And I'm hoping that any journey starts with the first step. By the little steps, and I've heard the previous speaker, I just walked in, thank you sir for your message, that this has grown. And may we continue to grow from strength to strength one day at a time. May we continue to be the example that we want others. May we continue to be the change that we want to see in others. And may we continue to do God's work. Because my purpose in life, and I believe that all of us should fit ourselves to be of maximum purpose to God and our fellows. And the only way that we can do that is by giving of ourselves. And there was an author, a writer, Khalil Gibran. He says it is only when we give of ourselves that we truly give. And today I want to thank you for truly giving of yourselves. And I want to conclude with the words that I started off with. I salute you and I thank you for your lives. Thank you very much.